Please welcome Sue Smith, Bose Place board member, who will introduce our Robin Bush Award honorees today. Sue?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sue Smith. It's my honor to introduce the 2022 recipients of the Robin Bush Award, Rebecca and Kristen Taylor. The Robin Bush Award is bestowed upon individuals who have made a marked difference in the lives of children. Sorry, I need reading glasses. Rebecca and I met about a year and a half ago when she applied and was admitted to Texas A&M's College of Engineering. Her application was like none I had ever read. Her personal essay detailed her diagnosis at age 7 with chronic pancreatitis and a conglomeration of 18 other diseases that attacked her body, which has resulted in the loss of 7 organs, 100 invasive procedures, and about 1,200 days in the hospital. Rebecca's application also included a letter of recommendation from Dr. Patel, a specialist in pancreatic endoscopy procedures. Dr. Patel also answers to the name of dad number 2 in the Taylor family, and this is what he wrote. She always carries a genuine smile and a gentle hand. She spends meaningful time with the less fortunate children in the hospital. She arranges and serves meals to children hospitalized during the holidays. She is always gracious with care providers, staff, and visitors. She has an angelic presence. She is my compass to living a life with grace. When the Make-A-Wish Foundation approached Rebecca, she requested assistance, but not for herself, but to help other children with pancreatitis. In 2018, Rebecca's dream was realized with the formation of a nonprofit in her name, Rebecca's Wish. Rebecca's Wish supports pancreatic research, education, and patient support, and it also partners with hospitals to train pancreatic endoscopists. This summer, Rebecca's Wish is offering a week-long summer camp for pediatric pancreatitis patients, and Rebecca and Kristen will be camp counselors. When my husband, Craig Brown, the founder of our family foundation, and I wanted to offer Rebecca merit-based scholarships for her undergraduate studies at A&M and to NMed, a Vanguard medical school where students achieve a master's in engineering and MD in 4 years, and to whom Rebecca was admitted as a high school student, we were aware that she was also admitted to Harvard, and A&M and Harvard were her 2 schools of choice. Rebecca and I hoped she would attend A&M. After all, Kristen and Brian had met at A&M, and Rebecca's grandfather, Don Russell, also known as Papa, is a National Academy member and a distinguished professor at A&M. Also, Rebecca's grandmother, Becky, also known as Yaya, has extensive Texas roots. In fact, Rebecca is an 8th-generation Texan on Don's side and a 9th-generation Texan on Becky's side. Around this time, I came to know Kristen. Since Rebecca's pancreatitis diagnosis, Kristen has become expert at understanding Rebecca's disease process absent a clinical background or formal training. Her breadth of knowledge surpasses many physicians, a proven fact from her accrued knowledge, research efforts, and diligence in speaking with premier specialists around the United States. When Rebecca is admitted to the hospital, Kristen says, "We were admitted," or "We were discharged," and sometimes Kristen even says, "We left the ICU and we're going home." Woe be to the new medical fellow or resident in Rebecca's care team who makes assumptions about Kristen being just the mom of the patient. The Taylor Russell family members are all extraordinary, and the support and love they show for one another is, well, I really lack superlatives to describe them. Last semester, Rebecca decorated her dorm room with a poster her brother Nicholas had made that said, "You're beautiful and you're perfect." Unfortunately, a few weeks into the semester, Rebecca had an intestinal blockage that forced her back in the hospital. She was taken by ambulance from College Station to San Antonio. Brian drove from San Antonio to College Station and then followed behind the ambulance back to San Antonio. When Rebecca's colon was removed and Brian wasn't allowed in the hospital because of COVID policies, he parked and sat his car at a spot closest to her window so she would know he was there. At home, her brother Alexander washes Rebecca's hair every week because she's unable to shower due to a central line catheter. Rebecca is equal parts grit and grace, and Kristen's a force. Archbishop Desmond Tutu said, "You and I and everyone else were born with the same purpose, for love, for goodness, and for one another. Being born with a purpose is distinct with living it. Thank you, Rebecca and Kristen, for showing us what a purpose-filled life looks like and living it consistent with your Christian values." Please join me in welcoming my personal heroes and the 2022 Robin Bush Award honorees, Rebecca and Kristen Taylor.
Wow. I don't know if I should be overwhelmed and happy that Sue gave such a beautiful, glowing review, or upset that she's making me cry before I'm supposed to speak to you. Haven't decided yet. Thank you, Sue. It was providential we met you, and it's providential we're here today just for the simple fact that I got to meet a table right there to the left of me that has actually been praying for our journey for over 10 years, and we have never met until today. Will y'all wave? Yes. They found out that we were going to be here and purchased a table and are big supporters of Beau's Place, and they have been sending us notes for 10 years, over and over and over. Support packages, have been donating toward Rebecca's Wish, and most importantly, praying for us. And they came up and said, "We're your family, you just haven't met us yet." And that's how we feel. No mother ever envisions their children's childhood looking like my children had. I never thought that the majority of the last 12 years would be spent living in a hospital sitting by my daughter's side. We dream of Disneyland trips, and we dream of rainbows and Skittles and everything that you could possibly think of, the Care Bears and Cabbage Patch Kids for Christmas. I probably just dated myself in that. Do you even know what those are? I don't know that she knows what that is. But that's what we envision. And when that doesn't happen and you have this twist and something falls apart and everything that you had thought and everything you'd planned is not what is to be, what do you do in that situation? What do you do when you can't raise your boys because your boys are living at home while you're sitting by your daughter's side and watching her suffering? How do you react? What's the next step? Because I didn't know what to do, and I was drowning in that. And I remember stumbling across a quote that was so profound to me that I've kept it and I've carried it with me for over 10 years. And it was a mother who had gone through a very difficult situation with her child. And she said, "I'm not sure that I was going to emotionally and spiritually come through this with my heart intact. But I found that helping others is what helped myself." And I really thought about that. And I read that quote over and over and really thought about our situation. And I thought, I can't get myself out of this. I would love to heal Rebecca with a magic wand. I can research it and I can pour into it, but there's nothing I can do to make her well outside of just pray and hope. But there was something I could do. Because the beauty that I had discovered through this whole process was our family's greatest suffering actually became our greatest strength. So our suffering was turned to strength because I realized what better person to help comfort a mother in crisis than a mother in crisis. What better person to help with the hospital family than a family who lived in the hospital? What better person to help a child with a rare disease than a child who had a rare disease herself? And so as we started pouring into that concept and able to look at the people in need around us that we had intimate knowledge of, that process healed me because I saw God turn something beautiful from our heap of ashes. Rebecca's Wish will be known, thank you, Lord, for helping pediatric pancreatitis and changing the face of it. It already is in the nation, and we pray for that internationally with research, with supportive care, with education. But what will always be the foundation and the core of Rebecca's Wish, always, will be ministering to the hearts of those hurting and loving those in pain. So why it's so providential for me to be here today, I'll try not to get choked up and then make Rebecca sad. The quote that I found was actually from First Lady Barbara Bush that I've carried around for 10 years about her daughter, Robin Bush, who passed away. So when Sue called to tell us that we had received this award, I knew that this was God ordained because their story helped us get through and create what we have developed today. So I humbly accept this award on behalf of our courageous Rebecca and all the pediatric pancreatitis kids around the world. Thank you.
3 months ago, I didn't think I'd be alive, much less being able to stand here in front of you all today. I started out my first semester in college loving every second that I was given. To be able to attend a school was a gift that had been taken away from me for the last year and a half due to hospitalizations. I was so wonderfully happy to have some sense of normalcy in my life, to be able to go to class and hang out with friends, that I put aside my increasing pain until it became too much for me to handle. I then spent the next 6 weeks in a hospital bed having multiple surgeries and only just now was able to return to school. Part of my disease means that I miss out on normal life, things that many people take for granted, such as being able to go and be with friends and be able to walk and eat without pain. I will never be able to reverse my disease, to regrow my missing organs, or to have a moment where I'm not hurting. But I do know that my life isn't over and that there are children out there who think that theirs is. That their diagnosis means the end of all things that are good and beautiful. And out of everything that I've gone through, what breaks my heart the most is the thought of another child who has to walk the same path that I did, to have the same excruciating pain and immense loss that leaves them hopeless. I may not be the healthiest person standing here in the room, or the strongest or the smartest, but I do know that I have a purpose, and I pray that all of my suffering will one day be turned into the smile on another child's face when they realize that they're out of pain for the first time since they can remember. And that's why I do what I do, why I continue to go to school with oxygen tanks and wheelchairs and feeding tubes, to do whatever it takes just to be there. Because to me, real life isn't found in being able to attend proms or family vacations. It's found in the blessing of being able to love those who are hurting. Thank you for the tremendous honor of having my mom and myself here today. You are the reason why we can continue helping those who need it.